Welcome back to Jessica's Craft Time. My name's Jessica and today we're building our miniature room. I'm using the E6000 glue here because we're working with beads, so we're just making the light for the wall. I put the glue on and then realized that it was actually going to be really hard to feed these little wires through the little holes. So I probably should have fed the wires through and then put the glue on. That's okay, it worked in the end. I just got glue on my hands, but we know that's me, glue everywhere, so then we've got a little bit of wire just to make the it stick off the wall a little bit, and I've just had to bend it a couple of times so it didn't keep slipping back through the bead, and then it needs to be shoved in with the wires. So I didn't want to make it too long because I didn't want it to stick out of the wall too far. And just a little bit more glue and we'll set it aside to dry. Once it finally gets in there, it was a little bit difficult to get in, but and my wipes, as always, I forget my wipes. Now this was for decoration within the house, and I thought the pipe cleaners, I'd bend them, but I decided to come back to that. We're just making a little stool here. I've got my tacky glue out, and it's just a matter of gluing together. I actually really like building the furniture. It's probably my favorite part out of the miniature rooms. I had a little bit too much glue on my finger, so I just dabbed it off, and we'll set that aside to dry. So today we're building our house. We're putting it all together. I'm so excited. We're at the end. So these just hang down. I decided not to go with the snow on it, and I'm glad I did. I don't think it needed it. I had a little bit of trouble here. I'm like, what am I going to glue with? E6000. Then I'm like, if I put these on here, how am I going to lift it up? And it wasn't sort of sitting tacky straight away. It wasn't sticking to it. So I brought my trusty old case out again. And I put the E6000 on, but I just found that it wasn't kind of sticking the way I wanted it to. Nothing was working. They kept moving. So I decided, well, there's E6000 on it already. Let's double up with the glue. And I put the tacky glue on and set it aside. So now we've come back to start decorating. This is where I decided I'll actually bend the wire now rather than doing it beforehand because I knew how long I needed it. And I've just grabbed the tacky glue and I'm just putting dots of it along the top just so that it sticks on, and then bulldog clips along the top to hold it in place while it dries. Loving my bulldog clips. I had to add some extra wire to the Christmas tree because the wires from the lights weren't long enough, so you've just got to strip the plastic off, bend the wires together, and then they give you like a little bit of tape stuff that you wrap around it to hold them together. I actually really liked this miniature room in the end. It has a drawer in the back to hold all your wires. It was really neatly done. It's probably my favorite finish piece out of all the ones that I've completed. So we're just wrapping the second wire here. And now we've got to try and feed the wires through the hole, and I realized I hadn't actually punched the hole. So it took me a little bit to find it, and then we had to feed the wires through, and it goes through to a gap in the back of the room, and E6000 on the bottom just to hold it in place. I did need to hold it for a little bit until it became tacky, and it stayed in place and kept falling. That's alright, we just kept adjusting until it was in place. Now we're just putting the fences on. This is what was meant to have snow on them, but I'm glad I didn't. I kind of like it the way it is. And I just trimmed off some of the wire. I had a feeling when I originally did them that they might be a little bit long, but better longer than shorter. a little bit of E6000 glue on the bottom, and trimmed them off again. And then there was just a single post that went in the corner. And then we got our little snowman that goes on the side. I decided to keep the snowman because, you know, it snows in some parts of the world for Christmas. And I just had to find the right boxes to go out the front and bring our chair back. And I love this little bench, it's so cute. So that just goes in, and a bit of glue on the bottom of each of the piles of boxes to stick them down. I've learnt that you need to stick everything down. Now we're just making our table runner here. Oh, not table runner. It's the carpet to go up the stairs. It's not a table runner at all. I just used a PVA glue, but it didn't end up sticking. And the ribbons, I laid it down and then cut it. I didn't cut it first, I just wanted it the same length. So I've since found out that the PVA on this was quite a stiff felt fabric. It didn't really work. I pressed it down and laid it under something, but it didn't really, it kept kind of coming off. So I'm just going through and seeing what needs to go on. We need to put the rails up. Just a little bit of glue on them again. And that's to create the, slowly placing everything in. Now we're placing the lamp. So all the wires go through to the, underneath that bedroom. The top layer there is just a open area, which was really good because made it a lot easier putting all the wires together. So E6000 glue again. I dropped it and went everywhere. That's okay. I glued the lamp to the floor as well as the wall and tried to wipe the glue up, but it didn't really work. But that all gets covered later, so it doesn't matter. Now to make the stairs. This was a bit of a challenge because it kept, kind of didn't work, and then it did work, and then they kept falling. Then I had to get the other side on, and as you can see, they're going to just keep falling over on me. Every time I touched them, they fell, and then when I tried to lift it up, it fell again. So I decided to put the wall in and then kind of hold them in place. And they did keep falling, but we got there in the end. Glue it in, make sure it doesn't move. Once the glue was on the outside of the steps, it was a lot better. And I am getting better with my tweezers. My fingers were just a little bit too fat to get in there. And of course, I touch it. What have I said before? How many times? Just leave it alone, because if you keep touching it, it will fall apart on you. And of course, I touched it and it fell apart. So I keep just reverting back to the instructions and seeing what else needed to go where. We've put our little fireplace in. That one actually had to sit a bit further out from the wall. I didn't think about that when I stuck the Santa house on. And a little pot plant in the corner. I love that little pot plant. It's so cute. So we've got the table that really needed more than 2 legs because it still kept falling over. So I kept putting washi tape underneath it to hold it up while it dried. And then I moved the washi tape to the other side to make it easier to remove later. We've got the wreath on the wall, and yet again, it fell off. I don't know why I thought it would just stay there. That's not my luck. So I had to bulldog clip it to the wall again, and we've just got a couple of pictures going on the wall. Up behind the lamp, we were meant to have the gold pipe cleaner like we did with the green, but I decided to leave that one off as well. It's your own project. You can put on as much as you want or leave off. This was just a little bit of fabric used as a mat. And all I do is pull the couple of strands on the outside out, and that just gives it like a little bit of a frayed look. And as you can see, I went to get my carpet runner and the PVA did nothing. The ribbons fell straight back off. So I've used the tacky glue again. Hopefully it holds it on a bit better. Now we're just placing the Christmas tree inside with all the presents underneath and the little boxes of bits and pieces. Wherever you want. You can put whatever you want wherever you want. It's your room. Now we've got to try and attach. This was another difficult one, attaching the one on the wall. So I got the wires down into the bottom, but every time I tried to put glue on it, it kept falling off the wall. Put it on, yep, don't fall off. Put it on, yeah, that's going to fall off, And I'm like, what can I do to hold this in place? Can't use a bulldog clip. So I grabbed some of the washi tape that was actually holding up the table, and I just used that to sort of crisscross over it so that it held it in place long enough for the glue to dry so it'd stop falling over. Let's do the bedroom. So I'm just doing the bed. Use tweezers to poke it down. The little pictures on the wall, they were so cute. I really like those ones. And we've got the little piano in the bedroom. So I'm just putting glue on every side that I think is going to touch a floor or a wall. Last bit of cutting out to do, and this was the floor rug in front of the piano and the stool for the piano. And then this little pot. It was a little bit difficult to get in there, but it looked really cute in the end. I did like the little pot as well. I had another present, I'm not sure where it was meant to be, so I just shoved it in there. One of my dots fell off, so I fixed that. Now I'm just going to make this box. So this box actually slides in behind under the bedroom, and it's what holds your power box for your lights. I think it's a really great idea because I've had trouble in the past with them that I've had to try and tape them to the back of the room and they fall down, and when they fall down then they pull the wires out. So I really, really like this box, and the back of the room has also got the crepe paper on it, so it looked really, really good. It makes it more of a sealed unit. So this is our carpet runner, and yet again I had a bit of trouble going, how am I going to put this on, because this felt that it was quite stiff. It was a little bit too long for my liking, and yet again in the end I ended up getting bulldog clips out, so I sort of pushed them into the stairs a bit and clipped on where I could. Used my glue at the top just to hold the top one down because I couldn't clip that on. Tweezers to push it into place, and just alternated between the different ones. The different steps going each side to try and glue them on. So this room has had lots that I've had to glue and come back to, but that's okay. Everything's, working all right. Now it's time to wire up. So you just have to pull the plastic coating off the wires. And you want to make sure that all your white wires go to one, either red or black, it doesn't matter. And all your grey wires go to the other one. So I just twist them together, add them to the power pack, and then I cut my strip of tape that they provide and wrap it round to enclose it. Make sure they don't touch, they don't spark, and so we do it with the other side as well. And once you've done both of them, you can then go and get the batteries and make sure it all works, which I did. I forgot the batteries. And we have power. Woohoo! So we're just putting all the wires into the box and we are done. I've just got to wait for a few things to dry, which they weren't quite dry yet, so we had to leave it and come back a little bit later to see if they're dry. Oh, and then we had to make the dust cover. So this is like a clear perspex that has this paper over it. Now the downside with this paper is it makes it staticky. One, it takes forever to remove the paper. You just have to peel and peel and peel and peel and peel, and finally, it finally works eventually, but it took me quite some time to peel it off. What I love about this dust cover is that it will actually sit over the whole lot, but I managed to do it so that it would sit over and you can remove it. I think it's worth, with the miniature rooms, to get a dust cover. I had one that didn't have a dust cover and I made one myself just because there's lots of little fiddly bits and they will collect dust. They'll be like dust magnets. So the dust cover's really good to have. But one of mine, it's actually sealed. I glued it to it. So if anything moves or pops off or breaks inside the miniature room, I haven't been doing these for long, so I don't know how long the glues are going to last. So far, all of them are looking really good, but sometimes things happen. They get bumped, they get knocked. I like this one because I can lift the dust cover off, so I can fix anything that might happen inside it. So I'm just using the E6000 glue. Now the worst thing is when you pulled that brown paper off, it became staticky. So I tried to put the glue on it and it like staticked down the plastic. So it's not the neatest job. There is dribbles of glue around it, but it does a job. And if you really want to look at it nicely, then you can see here I've got a big dollop of it there. It just like, I put the toothpick with the glue on it and it just like sucked it off the toothpick. That's alright. Once it, you can take the dust cover off if you want to look at it closer. But I've just glued it so that, yeah, it can come off eventually if I need to. But it's going to keep that dust out of it. Used a couple of things to weight it down just so that the sides touch to each other. And here we go. What if I forgot to put the little window bit in. That was off to the side drying, and that was just a bit of tacky glue on it and just position it until it was sort of right in it. And there we go. We've got our Christmas miniature room house done. I really, really, really like this one. It was really fun to make, and it's finished really nicely on the back as well as the inside of it. I don't think down the side it needed the snow everywhere. I think it looks Christmassy enough as it is. I think the snow would have made it look tacky, but that's just my opinion. So thank you for watching. If you like my videos, please think about giving me a thumbs up, and I'll see you next week with a new miniature room. Take care, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.